Coming up on OU Nightly, the Muslim community on campus rallies for Palestine, their message to fellow students. Plus, a new candidate in the bid for House Speaker, the latest from Capitol Hill. And Killers of the Flower Moon finally hits theaters, the OU connection. This is OU Nightly. Thanks for watching OU Nightly. I'm Victoria Anderson.
And I'm Noah Mack. We begin tonight with breaking news on American hostage being held in Israel. Israeli Defense Forces say these two Americans, Judith Rahan and her 17-year-old daughter Natalie, are no longer in custody of the terrorist group Hamas. The women from Illinois are now with Israeli security forces. Their family rabbi says it does not sound like the women are in good condition, but more will be known as they can be seen by doctors. As the attacks continue, we know Egypt is sending humanitarian help into Gaza, where more than 2 million residents are in desperate need of assistance.
While war rages on in the Middle East, Muslims right here on campus and around Norman are feeling the impacts, especially emotionally. OU Nightly Stone Weber is live on campus. Stone, you talked to some of the students when they gathered last night.
The Muslim Student Association held a meeting last night here at Wagner Hall, not to discuss Israel or Hamas, but the state of Palestine.
You know, I almost canceled this program today because 4 of my family members were butchered. If you see me a little emotional, this issue is very personal to me.
Imam Ahmad and Chassi shares with the OU community exactly how the war hits home right here on campus.
Occupation, there's ethnic cleansing, there's a terror, and there's apartheid. I think occupation is a human issue. Ethnic cleansing is a human issue. Collective is a human issue. Apartheid is a human issue. Collective punishment is a human issue. That's how we need to describe and explain what is happening in Palestine.
One OU student who asked us not to use his name due to the threat of hate crimes in this country says change can begin with just one person.
We have to start the message from somewhere. Right now, let's say it's 100 people, if we can teach five people new information, they can go out, spread it to their families, spread it to their friends, who might start doing research. They might have different majors. They might be journalism majors. They might start doing research on it. And they're like, okay, now I gotta go up and I need to talk about this and I need to make sure it's rightly talked about.
And members of the Muslim community say that change starts with young Americans, even those in college right now.
You have the platforms, okay? You have the platform. You have a community at your college to speak about this, right? Don't feel like you don't have anything that you can do to benefit the people of Palestine, because you do. Okay, not only do you have a platform, it doesn't matter if you have 100 followers or 1,000 followers, you still have a platform of people.
The Muslim Student Association will continue to host events throughout the month if you'd like to learn more. Reporting live from Wagner Hall, Stone Weber, OU Nightly.
Thanks for that coverage, Stone. Aid to Israel from the United States is held up until the U.S. House can elect a speaker. And today we know it's back to the drawing board after another failed vote. OU Nightly is the only collegiate newscast with a student reporter filing daily reports from the Capitol. Kevin Palomino has more from our Washington bureau.
It's a rainy day here on Capitol Hill, especially for Representative Jim Jordan, who is no longer the nominee for Speaker from the Republican Party. He lost it today during a secret ballot that was held behind closed doors. However, while Jim Jordan is out, Representative Kevin Hern from Oklahoma says he's all in. He spoke with Gaylord News shortly after that meeting, and he tells us that he is going to run for that seat. We asked him how he was going to do that, especially because there's those 217 floor votes that Jim Jordan was not able to gather throughout the week. Even after 3 rounds of voting, this is what he had to say.
You've got to sit down and talk to everybody. You got to bring a different perspective. I'm not going to come with the perspective of being a career politician, because that's what I'm not. I spent a lifetime leading people.
There's an intended floor vote scheduled for Tuesday. However, it all really just depends how that candidate forum plans out. Reporting for Gaylord News from Washington, D.C., I'm Kevin Palomino.
Until the House elects a speaker, the legislative branch of the U.S. government is paralyzed.
And hot debates in Washington and hot weather here in Norman.
Very surprising for this time of year. OU Nightly meteorologist Peyton Gallion joins us live with a first look at the forecast. Peyton?
Well, Noah, you're right. These are above average temperatures for this time of year. I mean, 88 here in Norman. We have 90s all across the state. It is definitely not feeling like fall. Looking at our fall foliage map, we have a little bit of changing leaves across the state. Nothing like we are seeing in other parts of the country. But coming up in Maine weather, I'm going to talk about how Hurricane Norma is impacting us in Norman. The rain chance returns to your forecast and your game day forecast for tomorrow.
Thanks, Peyton. An American soldier who crossed into North Korea this year faces hefty charges. Ireland Fitzer has that and the rest of today's national headlines from the News Center.
The U.S. Army private who fled to North Korea in July has been charged with desertion. The U.S. Army charged Travis King with 8 counts, including desertion and other crimes. Authorities say King was returned to the U.S. last month after he went to North Korea, quote, willfully and without authorization. According to CNN, King was detained in Texas Wednesday, awaiting pretrial detention. And a third co-defendant in the Georgia 2020 election subversion case involving Donald Trump pleads guilty. As part of the deal, Kenneth Chesborough agreed to testify at future trials in the case. In return, the 7 charges against him for filing false documents were reduced to 1. Chesborough also has to write an apology letter to the citizens of Georgia. And as of today, a New York judge has fined Trump $5,000 for violating a gag order that was supposed to keep him from disparaging court staff amid a civil fraud trial. Noah, Victoria.
Thanks, Ireland. And as we head into the weekend, big changes are coming to OU's annual homecoming. We'll tell you what's new and different for celebrations tonight and tomorrow coming up.
And Killers of the Flower Moon hits theaters today. The movie was filmed right here in Oklahoma. We talked to OU students involved in the film when OU Nightly continues.
Welcome back. The annual homecoming parade and Raw rally are happening this weekend. OU Nightly reporter Bailey Coyle spoke to students about some new changes to traditions and is live on the North Oval. Bailey, what are these changes and how do students feel about it?
Yeah, so the biggest changes are that Raw Rally and the parade are going to be happening tonight. And actually right behind me is Raw Rally practice for that show. Now that parade's going to be a glow parade, and students say that they are excited about these changes.
I'm personally really excited. I think it'll bring a totally different atmosphere.
Students hope that having a Friday night light parade will increase attendance and be the perfect hype up for game day.
I kind of enjoy it only because a lot of alumni come in for the weekends, and so having it the night before the game kind of gets everyone excited for game day.
It could be a larger crowd being together with the parade, a Friday night. I think a lot of people will be showing up.
Since the parade will be at night, floats will have a new element, lights.
Because I think it allows everyone to be a little bit more creative because you have to incorporate lights in some way.
The change made challenges to both Raw Rally practices and making the floats.
I think it's made it a little bit more challenging just because we want to make sure we're putting in our best effort, because having it on the same day as the parade is going to probably increase the audience and make more people come watch. So we definitely want to make sure we're putting our best foot forward for the performance.
It's been a little different because we've had to pump at night a lot because to see how the lights look and work with the whole idea of the float.
Cast are excited to have Raw Rally follow the parade.
It's going to allow more integration of the cast into the environment of homecoming as a whole and make everyone more unified.
Homecoming is always a group effort for everyone involved.
All of our organizations together have kind of put on this amazing show, and I'm so excited for everyone to get to see it.
Now the parade will start tonight at 8 p.m. on Elm Street and will end right here on the North Oval. Following that parade will be Raw Rally at 9 p.m., which will be on the stage behind me, which is in front of Jacobson Hall. And if you plan to attend Raw Rally, please be sure to bring your own blankets and chairs. Reporting live on campus, Bailey Coyle, OU Nightly.
Thank you, Bailey. Looks like a lot of fun out there. This weekend, a movie highlighting one of Oklahoma's tribe's story premieres on the big screen. The OU campus is represented heavily in the film and its premiere tour. OU Nightly's Dakota Wapakichi is live outside on the north part of campus. Dakota, what familiar sights could students be seeing on the big screen?
Yeah, there's actually a scene involving archery that's shot right here between Evans Hall and Carnegie buildings. And the premiere tour for Killers of the Flower Moon just finished. And OU Nightly talked with two members of the OU community about the movie and Oklahoma's representation. Killers of the Flower Moon, directed by Martin Scorsese, features the story of the true events of the 1920s Reign of Terror. The movie comes 6 years after the best-selling book by David Grann was published. Gigi Siki, who is a sophomore and president of the Osage Club, says the movie does a good job in telling her tribe's story.
It has been such a magical experience, and the movie is very true to our history.
She's watched the movie 3 times in places like Tulsa and during premieres with Apple in New York City and Los Angeles, where she strutted across the red carpet. And she wasn't the only one. Film critic and OU adjunct instructor Dino Lowley was also in Los Angeles reporting live from the red carpet. It wasn't his first time reporting on a movie premiere in Hollywood, but this movie was one that meant so much more to him.
The movie was made here. It's a story that needed to be told, and so it was more exciting.
He was an extra, and he recalls his time watching Scorsese work the photography on set.
It was so much fun to be on that set, and just watch that kind of a crew. It was a lot of fun.
Now, some of the movie was shot in Norman and even on the OU campus. As you can see here with photos from the OU Daily, a scene was shot on the North Oval. And with the movie officially hitting the big screen, Siki says she is proud of not only seeing her campus, but also her people represented, and hopes many watch the movie.
We are still here. We are strong, resilient people who are continuing to grow as a community.
Lawley says Oklahoma's tax credit for the film industry is very appealing for Hollywood, and he says to potentially look for more movies from Oklahoma. In Norman, Dakota Wapakichi, OU Nightly.
Thanks, Dakota. Can't wait to get my tickets. And an exciting new addition to the Oklahoma City Zoo.
Find out more about this long-legged friend when we return.
Timing out when and how long you'll need that umbrella with you. Welcome back to OU Nightly, and looking at the South Oval right now, you can see there is not a cloud in the sky. Going to be a great evening for that parade and Raw Rally. However, it is very hot, 88 degrees, very above average, and across the rest of the state, we're dealing with this heat as well. 90s across southern and western Oklahoma. So going into tomorrow, this game is still going to be hot. Starting out the tailgate hours, 63 degrees by the end of the game, upper 80s once again, 86 degrees. So we're going from above average temperatures to above average rainfall. You can see Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Texas in this darker green area for rainfall, and this area needs it the most. You can see extreme drought conditions in the south as we speak, and this has continued on. So where are we getting this rain from? Well, Hurricane Norma in the eastern Pacific is actually going to make landfall through Mexico, make its way through Texas and into Oklahoma by Tuesday. This moisture is hanging out and bringing us those rain chances. So another look at it, you can see Norma way down here still hasn't made landfall in Mexico before it makes its way once again through Texas and into Oklahoma. We have this high pressure system with the rainfall on Tuesday. That makes its way on out, but here comes Thursday, another chance of rainfall before that leaves. And then come Friday, we have this dip in the jet stream. Cooler temperatures are on the way. So putting it all together, above average temperatures for Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we have those rain chances. And then come Friday, we dip down into the 40s. A ton of rain all at once. Back to the desk.
Thank you, Peyton. The OKC Zoo making an exciting announcement, welcoming the first ever giraffe calf to be born in the zoo's new giraffe house. The baby girl is healthy and thriving, standing at almost 6 feet.
This is the second baby born to giraffe Julie and Dimitri, though caretakers say you won't be able to see the baby until later in the year. Oklahoma football is preparing for its first ever duel against University of Central Florida this Saturday.
We have all the details next in Big Friday Sports. Welcome to Big Friday Sports. I'm Emily Faith.
And I'm Kaylee Jo Hommel. Oklahoma football is saying goodbye to bye week with Saturday's duel against UCF. OU Nightly's Kaylee Carnine is live from outside Gaylord Memorial Stadium with more on Dylan Gabriel's quest from Knight to Sooner.
After learning of Lincoln Riley's dramatic departure from OU, Sooner fans held their breath, waiting to see if starting quarterback Caleb Williams would return. Ultimately, Williams would follow Lincoln Riley to USC, leaving OU completely quarterbackless. But now, all eyes are on the man that stepped up. Dylan Gabriel is leading the Sooners to victories and leading in Heisman conversations. Now, Dylan Gabriel and the Sooners face off against his former team and new Big 12 foe, UCF. At UCF, Gabriel threw for 3,653 yards as a true freshman. Sophomore year, he was a semifinalist for the Maxwell and Davey O'Brien Quarterbacker of the Year awards. His junior year, Gabriel sustained a season-ending injury. That's when Brent Venables called.
I told him I couldn't make any promises about who was going to be here, who wasn't. I was going to try to keep the roster as is, so he'd have to come knowing, that I wasn't going to be misleading and things of that nature. I want him to come here and feel good about his opportunity. And he bet on himself. When it's all said and done, he bet on himself and bet on his relationship with Coach Levy, and worked out really well for all of us.
I think it's interesting, how college football, brings it all full circle. But I'm excited for it. I'm excited for every opportunity and grateful that, I get to run out with these guys.
The Sooners are at home starting at 11. Reporting from outside Gaylord Memorial Stadium, Kaylee Carnine, OU Nightly.
Thanks, Kaylee. This summer, the OU Nightly sports team traveled to Big 12 Media Days in Dallas to scope out the conference's newest competition. Blake Mullen has what this weekend's joust on Owen Field means for the Knights.
I am here in Arlington, Texas for day 2 of Big 12 Media Days inside AT&T Stadium. 2 more teams, Cincinnati and UCF, made their debut at Big 12 Media Days, and UCF head coach Gus Malzahn talked about his relationship with former UCF quarterback Dylan Gabriel.
Yeah, well, first of all, Dylan is a phenomenal player. That's what stands out. The year I had him, I wish he hadn't got hurt. I think it would have turned out a little different, but every day in practice, he would do something and you'd go, wow. I mean, he's a phenomenal player. We're playing against them, and, we're going to have to play really, really well in defense, anytime you're going against a great quarterback.
Not talked to DG yet. I've heard great things about him. I want to shake his hand before I leave here. I heard he's a great dude. Obviously, I've watched his film as a quarterback and played underneath Levy that's at Oklahoma as well. So definitely do want to meet him, but haven't talked to him yet, not yet. Oklahoma's going to be a cool stadium. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah, I'm excited about that game. It's going to be a lot of fun.
John Rice said he's excited to make the trip to Norman on October 21st to see a familiar foe, and offensive coordinator Jeff Levy and former UCF quarterback, now Oklahoma starting quarterback Dylan Gabriel. From AT&T Stadium at Big 12 Media Days, Blake Mullen, Game Day U.
Thanks, Blake. Now, whether you're a football fan or not, everyone has pride for their university. I talked with the drum major of the Pride of Oklahoma this week and learned more about her journey and her role as the leader of the band. The Pride of Oklahoma is what brings energy to OU, but the drum major gives the Pride their Sooner magic. Kaylee Moss is the 69th drum major of the Pride and says her job is more than simply strutting her stuff.
The role of the drum major is the top student leadership position within the Pride. And so obviously there's the very public things that everyone gets to see, the strutting, the conducting. One of my most favorite parts about this job is that I get to be this band's biggest cheerleader.
While Kaylee always has a smile on her face, her journey started with disappointment as she did not make the cut for the band her freshman year.
Whenever I found out that I didn't make the Pride, I was just so completely devastated when I got that email. I was so sad that I couldn't even cry.
But after a close friend pushed her to continue chasing her dream, Kaylee auditioned again and became a member of the Pride. 2 years later, she's proud to be the leader of the band. Beyond conducting and motivating her peers, one of the most important duties as drum major is the proud strut across the football field. But it's not as easy as it looks.
I can't actually see anything when I'm wearing this hat, so when I'm going down the field, I'm just praying that I'm going straight.
With all eyes on her, Kaylee understands the pressure that comes with her legacy, but each day she's overwhelmed with joy and gratitude.
I'm able to think back to how many wonderful men and women got to fill that role before me, and I get to carry on that legacy. After I do that first strut and we're doing the chant, sometimes a tear comes to my eye because I just cannot believe that I get to do this.
You can catch Kaylee's iconic strut tomorrow as she leads the Pride onto Owen Field. But marching over to the high school football scene, our very own Brig Bates has the latest on some Thursday night lights action. Brig?
Yeah, welcome back to Bowling with Brig. It's game of the year this week at the Rock. And no, I'm not talking about Dwayne Johnson. It's the home of the Guthrie Blue Jays as they host the Carl Albert Titans. There's the two future Sooners, Kevin Sperry and Xavier Robinson. Guthrie comes out hot and pulls off the trickery as they go up 14-0. Look at that jump pass in the first time Carl Albert has been down all season. But then right before the half, Kevin Sperry drops a dime to possible future Sooner and Marcus James. As we go into the half, 14-7, Blue Jays lead, and the Titans make the right defensive adjustments during halftime, forcing punt after punt in the third. And here's another one, but wait, it's blocked. That turnover sets up Carl Albert inside the 20, and the Sooner magic continues. Look here, Xavier Robinson houses this run, juking left and right, and makes it 17-14. Titans lead in the fourth, their first lead all game, but a big return from the Blue Jays on the kickoff sets up another Guthrie touchdown as they go up 21-17 with only 4 minutes to go. Carl Albert needs a touchdown to win the game, and the Titans offensive coordinator in his bag. Sperry rolls out, fakes, launches a deep ball to big play Haynes. That's right, Tristan Haynes for a huge gain. It sets up Carl Albert inside the 20, but the Guthrie defense gets stingy, forcing a 4th and 5, game on the line. Kevin Sperry rolls out and finds Marcus James again, his second touchdown of the night, as the Carl Albert Titans win it 24-17 and stay undefeated. The Titans march into the Rock and take down Guthrie from the power of OU DNA, and that's all we have from Bowling with Brig. Be sure to tune in next week.
Thanks, Brig. OU is back in action on Saturday, but there's still some big football matchups this weekend to watch. Over in the SEC, Alabama is hoping for redemption against Tennessee on their home turf. And to finish the night, former Sooner Caleb Williams looks to prove his Heisman status for the second year as USC takes on Utah.
Moving up to the pros, some Sooners in the NFL will see an action-packed weekend. Sunday's slate features Baker Mayfield leading Tampa Bay into battle, while up north, the Giants will face the Commanders at noon. The Chargers look to defeat the Chiefs in their Sooner-studded offensive line, and the Dolphins hope to ground Jalen Hurts in the Eagles.
Coming off a regular season Big 12 title and a disappointing round of 32 loss to UCLA last season, OU women's basketball head coach Jenny Baranczyk and her squad isn't short of motivation going into 2023.
Now, coming off of a shared conference title, that's a little bit motivating, right? The way that you end the season, a tough ending at UCLA last year in the NCAA tournament, that's been really motivating. And so I feel like I love this team, where we're going.
Thanks for watching Big Friday Sports. I'm Kaylee Jo Hummel.
And I'm Emily Faith. Have a safe and a football-filled weekend.